Oh, is my volume better?
You're gonna definitely want to speak up again.
Okay.
Yeah, speak slightly louder than you think you're supposed to, and we
Alrighty.
should be good. There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. Just like that. Oh man. Well, here we are. Oh yeah. I can hear you and me perfectly. All right, let's
Excellent.
ready up and go for this. All right, so nerd morning, everybody. Me and Joseph are here, and we are like ready to talk movies and hang out and play some Fortnite. So I'm honestly really excited about this particular topic that we have
It's a
for
fun one.
ourselves. I think that it will. Um, I think that it will be really fun. And like, there's some really, really amazing movies that we are going to be able to like talk about.
Oh yeah, the
And
80s are full of iconic movies.
yeah, and I guess the question is like early '90s, throughout and through the '80s, especially though, um, was such a huge time for movies. Like, why do you think that's the case?
I think the technology was really starting to show what was possible for people's imaginations and that storytelling medium.
Uh
Like
huh.
from the 60s and so we had tons of stop action animation. That lasted, you know, they still do some of that today, but really it started getting a little more polished. Like Rainforest was what a stop action,
Oh no,
but
I'm too
they
noisy. I'm having a hard time hearing you. Let me land and then you continue with the stop action. I've got a
uh,
surfboard and it's just overshadowing your voice so bad. Okay. Um, I
so
am. I'm good. Okay, go.
you're
Yeah.
good. All right, so the stop action technology uh, became smoother. It was better. Some
Yeah.
of that is due to Bruce Lee. Even they had to increase the how fast the film ran
Uh
just to
huh.
be able to film him, and that also helped the stop action portions just
Yeah.
work better.
That's
So
fascinating. I think when I think of those type of movies, I think of an era where they really had a good blend of both character development as well as um, action and adventure, like you were talking about. Um, is that we had kind of the expansion of technology, but you also had a real good, strong emphasis on good character-driven stories,
yeah,
which nowadays I find there's a more emphasis on having adventure than good character-driven stories, if that makes sense.
yeah. We'll get into it more when we're not making so much noise with
I
this.
know. Fortunately, we are getting pretty good at opening these,
Yeah,
and so it doesn't take quite as long as it maybe had at the beginning, right?
yeah.
So I looked, and according to um, IMDb, Star Wars Episode 5 Empire Strikes Back is the number one for this uh, this period, this era of the 80s. And I think that that's
Oh,
interesting.
okay. Yeah.
Uh, Miriam Trading, welcome, welcome. You are first. Welcome. So right now we've been talking movies, and I just said that Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, is the number one for that era. So for Joseph, like, what do you think of that in the ranks of Star Wars overall? I think most of Star Wars was in that era. You have Episode 4 was, I believe, just before the 80s.
Yeah, that was 69.
And then Star Wars Empire Strikes Back was 1980, right on that year.
Yep.
So it's the very beginning of that period. And then you have Return of the Jedi, which for me as a kid, I remember liking that one a little bit more
Yeah,
than
the
Empire
it's
Strikes Back.
fulfilling. It's the conclusion. It's the hooray, we won. While Empire Strikes Back is often kind of frowned on as kind of the downer. It's the middle movie. It's setting up the real crisis for later,
Yeah,
and it does a great job with that. I hear a lot of movie reviews, or even book reviews, referring to that kind of
yeah,
movie as, they'll say something like it's the Empire Strikes Back for this.
yeah.
Oh,
Ouch. But
that
that's interesting because this according to the fan base that uses IMDb, which is a lot of votes into this type of list. Um, Empire is number one of all 80s
at least
movies.
from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
which is interesting that would
yeah.
have that to be the case.
Uh, um, so it's hard to say, but I have heard that phrase a lot of times, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So,
I
so
think there were some, despite it having that major cliffhanger end, like mid-story ending, it also had the big reveal of Darth Vader being Luke's father.
right.
Spoiler to anyone who's never seen Star Wars.
Sorry.
Right? But that's like a big reveal. I
It's
think it solidified Star Wars number one between that one and this one to Star Wars going to be a great epic. And I think it did that, which is a big accomplishment for it and the medium of Star Wars, which is like almost a
yeah.
whole medium itself.
It
It's like a
almost
genre.
is.
Um,
So, um,
yeah. Another one that's on this list, number two, is The Shining, which is also 1980. And I'm not as big of a horror buff. I really love horror books. I read like the classic horror stuff, I should say. Like I read Dracula. I just finished that one again, last week. I find myself returning to some of those type of stories frequently. I love Frankenstein, but I have to say I don't know. The Shining is timeless. It is amazing. I'm not like it's not one I thought of initially because I guess my headspace isn't around in the horror genres too much. But
right.
it is one that has been tremendously influential. If you're studying film, you're going to
Yes.
look at that. If you
Yeah.
study, classic cinema, yeah, that's going to make the list. When it had references to things in like the movie version of Ready Player One, like The Shining had a big moment in that, you know.
Right. Yep. It's definitely a classic story. Um, probably, uh, and probably in large part due to the movie, also, but it's one of Stephen King's
Hmm.
uh, best known works.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to it.
And I
So
think that
I
that's
could
the
see that
thing.
being in a top list.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting like thing that you had mentioned because this is the era where you would buy standalone books. And
Right.
now we're in the era of franchises, right? If
Yes.
you are wanting to make it big, then you are going to want to, um,
Yeah. You need a series, not just a book.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to hire special forces?
Let me talk to him first.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a big thing. Is you create a story a little bit differently when it's a full series versus it's um, a standalone experience story that's self-contained,
Right.
and um,
There it is.
that's something that is different with some of the movies of that era and movies right now. And I'm like all about franchises. Franchises are huge, and honestly, I would say that like movies of this era, a little bit later, like were like the birth of franchises as we know them. I mean, obviously there were
Uh-huh.
other things before. Your Star Trek, came out from way before that, and you did have that. But I would say there's a lot of big, big stories that
You could
became
even
like I mean,
argue
like
that Star Wars really led the way on that.
yeah. And
That would
Star
be a
Wars
valid
was not a
argument.
franchise until movie two. That's when he said,
Right.
"Boom," that this. Robinson's here. Welcome, welcome. You made it. Let's see. Damage on a vehicle, shotgun damage, SMG damage. All right, perfect. SMG. Well, let's. Should we open up this?
Ooh, is there another chest here? Yay!
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So yeah, I think that that's interesting. Because. Oh, hi. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I think there's a big argument to be said. Um, do you hear a phone ringing? Yes, there was a phone ringing sound on the game, and there might be an alarm in the background of Joseph's mic area.
Oh, there, I think there is. One sec.
Yeah, it's totally in my way. All right, that's all there is.
Sorry, I had my headphones on. There we go.
There you go. You're good. Hope all is well with that.
Oh yeah, just barely.
Yeah. So, the third one on this list of best 80s movies is the first Back to the Future, which is 1985.
Ah, love that one.
Um,
Back to the Future is uh it'd be hard to say there's anything more iconic 80s than Back to the
yeah,
Future.
yeah, I think that
They,
that's pretty accurate.
Huey Lewis and the News with the music and
Uh-huh.
just the style, the skateboards, and how they have to emphasize the different styles because they need them to contrast with the 50s so
Yeah.
greatly. Uh, so there's they really focus on the different coats and the different hairstyles.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy to watch an 80s movie and say, oh yeah, that hair, this is 80s or early 90s.
Right. Yeah.
It's so that's just fun. Good one. Love,
Um,
love Back to the Future.
yeah, I'll touch more on that. There's a comment. It's Zaza. Is that what your skin is, Joseph?
Uh, oh, I forget her name. I don't think
Okay.
so. I think it's just a different hood
Okay.
for this character.
Okay.
It's one of the
Uh,
Fortnite basics.
okay. Yeah, so for me, like Back to the Future, like when I think of the aesthetic, the like attire and the look of the 80s, I'm thinking of Back to the Future. That to
Right?
me is what um, the 80s looks like. Um, I think that it's a pretty memorable uh, one as well. Like I think everybody. Oh, did we not get the cosmic chest?
No, we did.
Gather the entire. Oh shoot!
There might be another one, but yeah, we got it.
It says gather the entire squad around. Urgent quest. I don't think it like authenticated that through on mine.
Uh, I see the message also. It did that last time. Oh, coming in behind you.
Nice.
Yay, shotgun elimination award. He's got a
Yay.
buddy around here somewhere though. So
Yeah. Very curious. Unless the person, I don't know, he didn't go down right away, so.
yeah. But I think one other thing that makes Back to the Future so classic and iconic is how quotable it is.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's a
I
big thing that makes a movie last long, is how quotable it is. And so
yeah.
that makes clever dialogue really, really meaningful. I mean, this is definitely not a an 80s movie by any stretch, but a movie that's, I think, stood the test of time in the animated world is Emperor's New Groove, which we know no one
Oh
expected that
yeah.
movie to be timeless, right? But it's
Right?
so quotable that people return to it over and over and over. And I think a lot of these famous 80s movies have points where it's everyone knows those lines and
Yep.
they are reused and shared over and over again, and that makes, I think, part of maybe that cinematic wonder of that period so powerful is the strength of the dialogue in so many of these.
Yeah.
Um, oh shoot, what do I want to get rid of? I'm going to get rid of that. Yeah, so I don't, I think that that's good. I mean, Zaz, a little joke from Arkham City. Okay, understand, Robinson. Another one that's super famous on the list at number 4 is Blade Runner 1982.
Oh. Okay. Blade Runner is the first time I watched it, I was like, oh,
Oh, I just got shot.
I'm trying to come back. You're about to get in the storm too.
Yeah. Took out that. You can have the ray gun. I bought one. Robinson asks, what is Blade Runner? So that is
Okay.
a pretty famous sci-fi movie of the 80s.
Well,
It's
time.
yeah,
If you're
it's
making
been
a sci-fi list, you
yeah.
Blade Runner.
Yeah, it's also like influenced a lot of comics. There's a series that's going on right now, actually, of Blade Runner.
The general premise of it is a company develops the ability to make robots like. Oh, I got him one shot.
Nice.
That are so good and realistic that you can't tell the difference. You have to literally cut them.
They're gonna the one guy's gonna heal his buddy. If you want to get that kill, we're gonna have to head over there. Yeah. That's that's an interesting, very sci-fi premise. Oh boy, we found Buddy. We are not alone. Someone's behind as well. Ooh. Oh, ouch. But yeah, I think that one's honestly, because of its reboot that they had recently. I don't know, what was that? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
They made it relevant again. But...
Yeah, and I think that kind of like boosted some of its current pop culture-ness, but it is definitely one that, like, if you're big on sci-fi, specifically sci-fi, not necessarily sci-fi fantasy, but sci-fi, it's a big one.
For sure. A little side note on that.
Yeah.
The Blade Runner, Alien, and Predator series are officially all in the same universe,
which is really cool.
Really cool.
They all owned by the same parent company then?
Now they are. They didn't start out that way, but the corporation that sent out the ship for Alien, that owns that vessel, is the company that makes the robots. So
okay, thus the robots from Alien would be the same.
Right. It's
interesting.
The same kind of group. So
that's a cool,
those are all
like, connected universe-ness that we've got. I like it. I think it's cool. It's one that I should return to. It's a Harrison Ford film. And another one, number 5 on the list that I have from IMDb is Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981.
Raiders is so classic.
Right?
It's probably one of the best openings to a film ever.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Paramount logo pop up that transitions into the mountain in the movie that they're working with. Right by. It leads into this character in a hat. You don't know what's going on. And the
Right?
first thing that happens is some guy is pulling a gun on him, and he pulls out a whip.
Yeah.
Right? Someone shot me in the back.
Don't get
Panicked.
shot in the back.
I'm getting shakedown. He's gonna find you. He shot me up. Man,
No. I'm
I landed on
coming.
the tower so I could. He was going off to your left there.
All right. Where are you? Are you up on the tower
Right at the
still?
right. Oh, phew.
I can shake down you as well.
There you go. Go get my
Okay.
gold. Oh, he probably already got mine. Oh
Oh
well.
man.
So yeah, so just that beginning, and then going into the temple scene, another super iconic. Woo! From
Short round that
cinematic
one.
history. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Right, the boulder rolling down. That's
Yeah. That's something that has been played off again and again and again. We will continue to
yep.
see that. That's
Oh yeah.
something that's not going away.
Yep. And again, back to Luke, I am your father. I mean, Toy Story used that one.
Right?
So,
And that's another thing that makes this era of movies so timeless is, like I said, they're so quotable that they have been quoted and motifed off of
right?
constantly, and that makes them a part of the zeitgeist of the popular culture brain. And
Yep.
so when we tell stories, we play off of these movies of this era. It is something that we will continue to do. There's something about it that we just have latched onto. And I think, honestly, it's where we get a big part of the nerd culture inside of cinema as well.
Definitely. A lot of the nerd culture movies that everyone knows and everyone loves at least had a beginning there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm landing in Pleasant Park for some XP. Then I'll come and catch up to you.
All right, that's cool. I can go that way. The the world of Indiana Jones was so pervasive. It actually had a significant uptick to people who wanted to do archaeological work.
Yep.
Just as Jurassic Park made people want to do a study with dinosaurs. I mean, that was like they helped make and invigorate those industries.
Right.
Um,
So
which I think is cool and interesting, and I think it's fascinating to see how powerful stories can affect the real world. And in that regard, we had a real world of these stories making it so we change industry
they're
and affect
inspiring.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
like that's
So,
a huge thing. I'm
yep.
always
Something you've
fascinated by
talking
that.
about. Yeah, you talked about that a lot. How um, what if you watch this movie and get inspired to exercise more, or
Yeah.
uh,
I
start a new hobby or a new career?
Yeah, I've heard various stories like that. Like one that I think is really like memorable to me is an individual who saw the beginning of the movie of the Casino Royale 007 and
Uh,
went from being
Cart.
not super fit to going and tearing down obesity and
Learning parkour.
learning to parkour. Yeah, like
Oh, that's awesome.
it's amazing that this person who would have been considered, obese, would then go, you know what? No, I am going to do that because I think that's so cool. And why did they do that? Because they saw a movie and they thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I think there's just a bunch of those type of moments, like littered in the um, the 80s and the 80s
Yeah.
movies. Oh, your voice has changed. Talk to me. Talk to me. I want to hear that before I rescue you.
Tell me all the amazing things.
Oh, you can barely hear you with that. Here, hold still.
Sure it's really hard.
Hold still, hold still, dude.
Sorry. Thanks.
I'm trying to rescue you here. Yay!
Ooh, sniper rifle.
Yeah, you should have waited till I had this to throw to you.
I don't know. Thanks. Alright.
Alright, chauffeur. Take me where you will. Okay, so I've got a lot more we can talk about with Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think that this is a crazy cool movie, and honestly, like, we talked about kind of maybe inspiring archaeological study, but also the adventurer. Really, like, when you think of characters like Lara Croft or Nathan Drake, ultimately you're like, oh, this kind of feels like Indiana Jones.
Right? They're totally inspired.
Yeah. I mean, where, like, honestly don't know, like, when the first Tomb Raider came out versus the first Indiana Jones came out, like, the video game versus the movie. Like, I don't know what those lineups are really, really like, but when I think of that, I think of specifically it being inspired by Indiana Jones. It's just maybe has been a little bit more impactful, maybe because it was cinema rather than TV or rather than video game. But to me, it always seems like those are inspired by Indiana Jones.
Right. George Lucas is one of the most interesting storytellers I think we ever. Maybe I can't say ever, but he has told some amazing stories. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Willow.
Yeah.
These are some of the amazing tales.
Can you speak up?
Sorry, the car's so loud.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you said those are some amazing stories that have been created. Honestly, I kind of lean more towards the Spielberg influence than the Lucas influence on some of those.
Crossover is Indiana Jones. So.
Yeah. That's what I think. I'm like, when those two team up, that's, like Spielberg's heyday was in the 90s and in the 80s.
Yes.
Now he does good work, as he has always done good work. But when I think of Spielberg, I think of his work during those periods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Indiana Jones also, I think, is really interesting in how we got a bunch of. Oh man, I found some people. Oh man, I sure did find some people. You got, huh? All right. If you're done killing all them, if you want to raise me up, I would love that. Oh no, get that person, get that person. Oh no, Master Chief. Okay, but
that's another one
also,
I would love.
yeah, right, totally. Um, Also, I think with that one, like him fighting Nazis, like what's cooler than that? Him having this like ancient archaeological thing like that's super super cool as well.
Yep.
With the Ark of the Covenant,
Yep. The
and
mystery.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know you blend. Religious mythology, history. You blend a lot of cool things all together, and it makes Indiana Jones, which is just super cool. He's like, he's a Tomb Raider of sorts, but
Yeah.
he's also, everything belongs into a museum, and that's like a big part,
Right.
um, which is fun, which is interesting that he's got that dynamic.
Yep.
Um, Number six, I don't really know too much about personally. 1980 Raging Bull.
I've heard of it. I believe it's a boxing movie.
Yeah, it is.
Um, but yeah, I can't see I've got anything to say on that one.
Yeah, me either. All right, number seven, Aliens.
Oh,
1986. Now, Aliens is the sequel to Alien.
right. 79 also, I believe. 78, 79.
Yeah.
So I actually just watched that one. Um, and I'm in the middle of watching Aliens at the moment. So
Okay.
it's the uh, an interesting again franchise. They really have a franchise on that one
Yeah.
of a sequel that's way better than the first one.
Hmm.
At least as far as the pace goes, right? It's the 69, the original one was made in the late 60s. That's following things like 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
That was
A very
probably the
slower
slowest
pace.
movie ever made. Yeah.
Um,
So, um, uh, but yeah, then the 80s where they're trying to be a little bit more character driven.
yeah.
Thank you.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, you also had that era where it was like, let's make movie, the cinematic experience be really, really beautiful. That's what we're looking
yeah.
for. And
Here, hold on.
so,
Wait, come here. That one. There you go.
oh, thank you.
There you go. Yeah, it
Um,
was very aesthetic, very broad, big.
they
Yeah,
liked playing with that, which was cool. But then we start to get, into the 80s where the pace picks up,
yep.
and it hasn't sped up so much in the pace where like we're now, if you're not having explosions, like why are you even telling me this scene, right?
Right.
um and which, I mean, I love explosions, but I good example is, again, this is 90s not 80s, I know. Independence Day versus the Independence Day
Ooh,
sequel years
yes.
later. Like the sequel is a fun movie. it is not anywhere close to as brilliant of a film as the first one. And the
Yeah.
thing, what I was like, I know when I rewatched Independence Day, in the period that we are now in, I was just like, holy cow, this is an amazing, amazing, powerful movie where it has like a bunch of significant characters. Like it was a whole
Yeah.
cast. And I was like, it passes the Bechdel test. It has
Yeah.
these dynamic characters that all have their own motivations and goals and things that are inspiring them. They weave all of that together and they have each of those things. They don't just like say, oh, yeah, this is a thing about this person's character that's a thing, and then just ignore it kind of like as a token characterization piece. No, it was a
Right.
part of what they did and part of that
Yep.
story. And I like how the main character, is trying to save the planet, and that's always been something about who he is. And then he went and tried to actually end up saving the planet, but he'd save it ultimately by recycling, and he'd comment about recycling and it's a playback. And when he like hits his lowest moment, he's like, "Oh, let's trash the planet." Like that's becomes a
Down the
big thing.
waterfall.
All right, I'm coming up down the waterfall in just a second. I'm gonna upgrade my gun over here at the upgrade place, and then I'll jump off a cliff and join you.
Okay.
Um,
I
but
recommend the waterfall, not the cliff.
okay. Um, but that was the type of things that we get in that era, where I just feel like we don't get those same good, strong story beats in some of the later stuff. Like the sequel is a good example. Exact same franchise, all that, but I empathized with the characters far, far less. And I think a
Right.
big part of that is that I got so much character development on everybody. You know, they worried about these external things, and yet the writers linked all of that stuff together, um, to how that story ended up being told, and that made for a really powerful experience. And that, I don't know, that's a
Nice.
cool thing. Thank you.
Yeah, it really stands the test of time.
And
So,
most of
yeah.
these all have that. Somebody's shooting from up the hill. Um, yeah, and yeah, with Aliens, Ripley is been revered as one of the greatest female characters for a long time.
Yeah.
She's one of the stronger written things, and one of the things I think is really interesting about that is originally she was written as a male character, and then they just switched genders, and I think that's one of the things is that they didn't have some of the negative weaknesses that some of the storytellers would have, um, with like with female character writer like written characters. Sometimes they make them
Yeah.
more of like a MacGuffin, or they give them funny quirks. Where I mean, this is a tough woman because she's out in space in this kind of cowboy type thing. She's going to be a tough, dynamic character, and instead of letting uh, some of their like weaknesses that they would have when writing female characters sometimes they didn't have that because they just transferred the character over and just had it be played
Yeah.
by a woman. And I think that shows now that we're like even just barely now even like really starting to progress in how we have some of that representation um,
Yep.
in our films. Like some of the things that made her a really good character is they didn't have some of those negative stigmas when they wrote the character. And I don't know,
Right.
it's kind of like I don't know. It's I for me, it's a criticism
Oh,
on
someone behind me.
the era and what they've done in the past. But it's also kind of like good to see a good example of a female character, and it would have been cool, if that was just like, oh, a good character because,
Aha!
oh, I lit myself on fire.
That was nice.
I need here's a shield for you.
I've got shields. I've got
You can still have that one.
okay.
Also, that shark's gonna try to kill us.
Huh. Speaking of Spielberg and Jaws.
Right? I think it's totally gonna try to kill us. Also, you have to know, these sharks can go on land. They're land sharks.
Yep. Yep.
It looks like it's not gonna kill me, so I'm gonna run away from it and away from the storm because,
Yeah. Good plan.
man, it shot me in the air.
Huh. Yay me! I did all that without taking any damage.
Nice.
Run
I
away!
definitely have damage. Yep, still in danger. I am still in danger. I just passed somebody. I'm just like not gonna worry about them.
Right.
Run. You're like so far away. Don't die in the storm.
won't
I have
die.
nothing to heal health, so I'm like desperate to stay away from the storm. Oh, I'm getting shot at two different directions. Oh no. I'm not in. I'm not in. There is a revive truck in this general area.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to get out of the circle as close as I can. Maybe you can pick me up and run with me.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
I'm at 11, 9, 7, 5, 3, 1, gone. Get my legendary gun.
Oh, of course.
You can keep it even. Grab that. You're dropping fast.
Card. Oh, there.
Run, go, go, go. There's people right up on this way, so you're gonna have to. All right. All right. There's where the reboot van is. Get to the far side of it, and they won't see you. Yeah.
Oh,
They're gonna notice in just a second.
yeah. I'll drop your gun, so stay quiet.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome. Now I gotta find some help. Real fast.
There's someone in this car. Oh, right. They're right next to us.
Oh,
What
dang
happened?
it. I'm in the gravity thing, so I didn't notice the storm.
Okay, gotcha. Let's see. Oh no.
Oh.
Batman to the rescue.
Yay! And
Oh no. Dang it.
nuts. Oh well.
I did not have that timed well.
That's alright. Run, run, run.
Okay.
Go light
Is
someone
there...
on fire. Yeah. There isn't any others.
Dang it. And you saved me in everything.
It alright. It's just fun.
Oh man.
Alright. So what's the next movie?
Okay, so the next one is Amadeus, 1984
Okay.
or 4.
Yeah. Interesting movie.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I've got to say about that one. Interesting movie.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. It really is.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
The next
Life of
one,
Mozart.
yeah.
Go
Next one is Once Upon a Time in America, 1984. I don't know if I've seen it. It is on
I
the
don't
list of
know.
like great movies.
Yeah, I can't say I have either. Woo! Yeah, there you go. Get up. They're around the corner. Yep. Throw it on that side. There. Okay.
Dang it. I lost all of my... Ah.
Oh.
Okay, this next one, Die Hard, 1988, a
Oh,
total classic. Everybody knows this one. If
also
you haven't
quotable.
seen it, you know over Die Hard. You know, very quotable.
Yep.
Argued as a Christmas movie. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I
That
don't know if I have
was
much more to say personally on that one. What are your thoughts?
what's the bad guy's name? Snape. Um. Oh, what's
I
the
don't know if I
actor's name?
remember. Um,
Alan Rickman. It was
yeah,
Alan Rickman's first movie. Was that?
really, that was his
Yeah,
first.
that was his
Fascinating.
first. Yeah.
Um,
So.
the next one, number 11 on that IMDb list, is The Terminator 1984. Lots of
Oh,
1984s. Big year, apparently.
yes. Uh.
Um,
Oh, that's a big one.
yeah,
Terminator, huge franchise.
right. I would say this is, for me, I would say one of Schwarzenegger's biggest films. Like, to this
Oh,
day, I think
easily.
it's still.
Yeah,
Um,
easily.
so, I need to light someone on fire, and I need to complete a bounty.
right, there's a bounty board here.
Perfect. Let's do it. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I think that it's a really interesting franchise action movie. Of course, it's got robots and time warp stuff, and just a lot of interesting things in an action sci-fi.
Yep.
And like, is it Terminator, the first Terminator, where he's just like, "I'll be back"?
No, that's Judgment Day. The second
That's
one.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
Um, but I don't know. I would say that there are
Come with
some.
me if you want to live.
Yeah, yeah. There you
Is the
go.
first one. Fun fact is the two main actors were originally hired for the opposite roles.
Oh
Schwarzenegger
yeah.
was hired to be the hero, and the other actor, I forget his name right off,
Uh huh.
was hired to be the death machine.
Yeah.
But when they started out, they were talking, and his accent was just it just kind of fit. So they beefed up the accent a little more, making it more robotic and such,
Uh huh.
and said, "All right, here you go. We're gonna do it." And the director loved it. So there you go.
Which is interesting, because when you think of the Terminator, you don't think of the quote unquote hero.
Right. It's all about the robot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Quite the shift. I would be curious to know how the script also turned and shifted in
Yeah, it
relation
probably did
to the
some.
casting.
Right. So yeah. But also, if you haven't seen it and you're into sci-fi, kind of a deeper story, if you go through more of them,
Uh huh.
with a lot of contradictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
They
they cover them
retconned
up as best they
themselves.
can. Yep, they
Yeah.
do. So, but
Well, it's one of those situations where you just go, I'm just here to have fun and not to. Everything doesn't
right,
have to make sense.
yeah, don't think too much about it, and you'll be fine.
But yeah, it's a pretty famous one. All right, next one, Full Metal Jacket, war story. Is that a Vietnam? I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
Um, yeah, I don't have a lot of personal connections to it. I may have seen it during my film study days. But I
Probably, it's
know
pretty common.
it, the imagery of that pretty big. Number
Yep.
13, Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, 1983. And this is one that honestly I'm surprised didn't make it on the list higher. Maybe people voted
Yeah.
for Emperor Strikes Back, and thus they didn't vote this one. But this one's huge. I mean, there's some of these on here that are really, really big, right?
Oh yeah.
Terminator, Die Hard, Aliens, like these ones people rewatch. Indiana Jones, but I think there are people who rewatch like marathon of Star Wars and thus see this one like every year.
Right.
I think it's
For
just
a
something that's
while, I had it memorized, like word for word, all of the movies.
right.
So
I'm
yeah.
heading into some action. Oh, they built really, really quickly right in front where they blocked my shot. They ran across towards the building, I think. Oh, yeah. Wow, they're way over there now. I have that and a shotgun, so... Oh, I blasted through
Nice.
the wall and got them.
looks like someone already took care of the IO guards. That's good.
Collect
Ah!
snipers.
Ah! Dude, he did the hide in a car trick.
Oh, I heard the car running. I guess I'm gonna help you.
Ah! Ouch.
Hey Alex, we are right now just currently. Oh, ouch! I was trying to jump over. I did not succeed.
Owie.
Oh, they went around the corner and got me. I'm down.
I know. I'm just not gonna live if I go out now.
I'm gonna not live because they're gonna run me over a second time. Oh, I'm gone. Alright, watching Joseph here now. There he goes. Live, take this guy out. Oh.
That was short.
That's a back bling I definitely want. I want like angel or fairy wings. I just think that sounds fun. All right, the next one, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, Sean Connery. I mean,
Right.
enough said.
Yeah. Let's see.
We must have skipped over Temple. Well, okay, Temple of Doom must not have made the list, but honorable mention to Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Alex is asking me what server am I on. I don't know. I'm on a PlayStation. Any better way to respond to that, Joseph?
It's kind of based on zone. Usually, you can see in the lobby in the top right corner what zone you're in. Like, so normally I'm in the Eastern.
Gotcha.
Eastern US.
Yeah, since we're both playing and are playing together, I don't know which one we would be in. I'm usually in the West. Let's see. Is there an easy way for me to have that identified?
The only part I know of is in the lobby.
In the lobby? I'm probably in the West server. I'm in the mountain zone, time zone. So go into settings. Click on the gear. Auto, English.
Jump.
I've never had the concern for that, so I haven't checked.
Check the lobby when
yeah.
Next in the lobby.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's going to be our final round, and so I'll go out and check out that, and we can maybe find that out. All right. Hey, sorry I didn't know right off the bat there, Alex. I haven't even really had to consider that too much. Let's see. So yeah, Last Crusade. Honestly, this one's my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah.
I think it's got some good, strong character development. Yeah. It also has, I would say, the best in terms of driving action. I don't think obviously it could not have done what it did without being a sequel-style movie. It just couldn't accomplish it. But it, as a standalone story, has a great adventure. I think that's super good. Number 15, Stand By Me, 1986. I think cool. I don't really, I don't know, it's not really the movies that I gravitate towards most of my time.
Yeah. Rom-com, it's fun, but...
Yeah, it did good work. It's noteworthy, but yeah. Number 16. This one is huge, I think, and I would have ranked it higher than it is. Princess Bride,
Oh,
1987. Now, this is what we were talking about with quotableness, right? This is a
oh,
crazy,
seriously.
crazy quotable movie.
Yep.
So I think that's one of the things that's going to make it last so long. Um, the main character is a very, very fun pirate hero, kind of thing, and uh, the whole story and a story element is really, really fun. Also, again, based off of a book, as so many of these have been.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Do you
honestly,
know
the
what the
movie
book
is better
title
than the
is?
book.
Yeah. Do you know what the book title is for the Harrison? I was going to say the Harrison Ford one. Half of them are Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I don't.
Blade Runner. Do you know what the book title is for Blade Runner?
I'm guessing it's not Blade Runner, from what you're
No.
saying. I,
No.
I don't know.
It's called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?
Oh, that's interesting. What a funny title.
Yeah. Chasing the Harley Quinn.
Got it. Nice teamwork. They didn't even look my direction because of you.
Ooh, awesome shotgun.
I'm gonna get this. Ooh, yeah. Shoot. Well, this stuff will be here. Let's open this. Next one is Das Boot, 1981. I have no idea what it is.
I've heard of it.
Is it international?
It must be. That's
Cinema Paradiso, 1988. Sounds international as well. It looks kind of fun. I've never haven't heard of it. Ran, 1985. And then number 20 on this list is Gandhi, 1982, which is in fact my all-time favorite movie.
It is so well done on pretty much every level.
Yeah.
It is.
Ben Kingsley, when he did the role, people were in shock. They thought he was the ghost of Mohandas K. Gandhi. Like, they literally thought this was Gandhi back from the dead, which is cool. That's huge. Also, the makeup work and his acting was so good because he originally looked young because he was a young actor, and then they got him older and older and older with the makeup work, and it was magnificently done. It starts out telling that it'll be one day that we'll rarely even believe that this type of being ever existed. And honestly, that's kind of a truism. That individual is so inspiring. His history is breathtaking, and I am like I rarely tear up or get emotional about stories or different things, but that is one that it's a big one for me. It's seriously touching.
It's so good.
We're gonna get this llama all the way. Oh, Oh, we got a chug gun. Shoot.
Oh, fun.
Um, I'm gonna pick up the chug gun, and I'm going to. Oh shoot! Yeah, I'm gonna drop my shields because no one needs. We don't need that anymore. I've got chug gun, and getting rid of my ray gun. Oh shoot! Storm. It was worth it.
It was worth it. Love the llamas.
Love the llama.
Oh, but yeah, the movie Gandhi inspired me to want to learn more about guns and
Yeah, totally.
how he lived through so much.
Hey,
Purely
stand
to
still.
Inspire. Thanks.
Yep.
Purely to inspire people to make changes to their government
Mhm.
without any sort of violence.
Yeah.
Like, everything he taught
So
was
so nonviolent, right?
yeah.
Which is amazing. Alex, do we have a stream delay? Yes, we do have a little bit of a delay. Probably, I would say about like 5 to 7 seconds, which is I know a longer delay. But yes, we do. On one of my other streaming setups that I'm tinkering with, I've been able to minimize that to about 2 or 3 seconds. But on this one, we definitely do have a little bit of a delay. Okay, yeah. Back to what you were saying, Joseph. Like, uh, he as like individual. I mean, I'm like I've bought the biography. I've also one of the things that story did was it told me that I wanted to learn about other cultures, belief systems, and ideologies beyond what I knew
Yep.
myself. And that opened up a world for me. Super big, super inspiring, super amazing. And that movie, like, honestly transformed my life. So it's my favorite. It's my favorite movie of all time.
Good choice. Good choice.
Thanks. There are so many others. That was kind of the big one on that list. But
Happy day.
all right, I just accepted us a bounty. They are
I just
north
got an awesome
for us.
sniper rifle to shoot him with.
Perfect. I'm gonna upgrade my SMG. Hopefully, I don't have to do that, soon because I spent all my money.
Well, let's go earn some more.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thanks for the request, Alex. All right. Okay, so
Yeah, head to the right. The storm is gonna chase. Yeah, the storm's chasing them to the right.
okay.
So watch out for IO guards.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, just what I want. Let's go. Oh, someone's right here at the revive truck. Oh, knocked down. They're not getting up out of that. Oh, quest complete. I was poached, but I think it counted, so that was great. Where you at? Come here, right next to me. Got him?
Got him.
Shakedown
They hit me hard too,
opponent.
though.
SMG damage. Go with that one.
Ah.
But why?
Okay, she's up by the truck over there.
Did I eliminate that person? Someone's behind right here.
One thing that's not very accurate about the sniper rifles, a real sniper is going to lay down most of the time.
Right?
Oh, watch
I'm
that.
sorry.
Thank you.
That's all I've got for right now. I literally left these people alone to rescue you. I was just like, meh, not even concerned. Oh, gone. All right, well, that is going to be it for right now. I've got to run. Thanks, Joseph, for hanging out and talking movies. Thank you, everyone else, for joining and hanging out. And we will be talking to you guys all later. Let's go grab some of these rewards. Let's see what we earned. Can we play one game? I honestly, I have to wrap up, Alex, right now. So, not this time. Next, claimed alien artifacts. All right, Robinson. Hey, bye. Thank you so much. And all right. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining in, and we'll be talking to everyone later. Bye, everybody.
Yep, later. All right, thanks, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Okay.